Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. You know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See what I'm saying? OnChain Revolution. Youngest. Phone me.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live in the OnChain Hour, and today we realized yesterday was manipulated. Bitcoin back over $91,000. It looked like doomsday yesterday. It looked like we were headed back down to 80,000. It looked terrible. What happens in 24 hours later? Well, that all kind of gets swept under the rug. It never happened. Don't look over there. You got manipulated out the market. If you sold yesterday, you got manipulated out of the market. That's all it was. They knew yesterday was the last day of quantitative tightening. Today, officially, as of 12 o'clock this UTC, you see basically no more. And they did some easing yesterday. Not technically quantitative easing, but they did ease the markets a little bit. There was a bank, I guess, in trouble. They had to send $13.5 billion. We're going to talk about that. Guys, it is time to start looking forward. It is time to start looking to quantitative easing. I think that a lot of the market is right now going to look that way. And it's not the quantitative easing that, you know, the money printer going, right? That's all exciting. But it's the people getting ready for that, right? Where are the opportunities now? So when that happens, my bags pump, and we're going to find them for you. We think there's a lot of places in the trenches right now you could be allocating funds to and make a lot of money. That's kind of what we're doing. We're looking everywhere and anywhere. But a lot of the things we're doing, though, is the new stuff. And that's one thing about crypto. It's like, what's the newest, hottest thing, right? What's the new thing? The old stuff, it just doesn't get the same push-ups, right? You do get your die-hard holders and stuff like that, but like it's kind of like, where's the new? And we think we found it with Monad and Spark. We're going to get into that as well and get into a lot of different things. If you guys are finding ways to make money out there, please put it in the comments, guys. Please like and share this. We need more likes on the videos. We need more shares. If you guys don't mind on X, please share as well. But we have a great show for you guys, jam-packed with stuff. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Yesterday feels like manipulation. What's happening right now?
Not yesterday. I feel like, well, yesterday definitely, but I feel like the last 3 weeks has been heavily manipulated. Now, this is obviously, you know, my theory, not anything that has been proven necessarily yet, right? But we all knew, and they knew, the institutions, the large financial institutions knew that retail gets emotional with price action. But we all knew that the Fed put a statement out that said that QT would stop December 1st, right? Okay. So with Bitcoin being pulled back to nearly below 80K, everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to figure out what's happening, all these things. But in my theory, what I believe is happening was create hysteria, create chaos, make it seem like bear market is actually here now. and get Bitcoin as cheap as possible before QT stops, right? And now that we are in a day past when QT officially stopped, you're starting to see some recovery. And don't take that as now we're going to be in QE and everything's going to shoot up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these institutions are very smart. This morning, you have Bank of America talking about recommending, a certain percentage in Bitcoin and crypto for their clients, right? So it's flipped the switch, right? And it's kind of like what you said about Raoul Paul, right? Like, we had the information. I think the emotions really get to a lot of retail traders, including us. I mean, we're human too, right? So you have to remember that.
Yeah, and if they made it easy, right? If they made it easy and just took the number up, on the times. If this last year, we ran from, let's just say, August to November, blow off top of November, right? That would be too easy, wouldn't it be? Everyone would just make so much money. Everyone would dump at the same time. That doesn't happen in markets. They don't do that. They don't make it easy for you. Why were we thinking that they were going to make it easy for us? They're going to drag it out. They're going to push it till you quit, until you hate yourself, right? And then they're going to let it go, right? And that is exactly what they do. That they're not going to make it easy for us. So we have to stop thinking they are, and we have to always be prepared for everything.
Yeah, and well, I think the problem is that if you experienced previous cycles, you did feel like it was easy because you had some sort of playbook that would stay within the bounds, right? You're not going to get out of bounds too far, and that was not the case this year. But also the major difference is that this is becoming an actual, legal regulated industry, to where infrastructure is being built and things are being replaced, replacing over the legacy financial system. And we didn't account for that. Right. So again, everybody has to look in the mirror and say, what did I get wrong this year? What did I get wrong this cycle? And I wouldn't say, put a lot of pressure on yourself or beat yourself up too much, because most everybody got thrown off. You even have the really smart people like Benjamin Cohen right now that's conflicted, right? Can't make up his mind because he's using historical data, and he's also, focusing on the economic from, like, what is it, the not the kind of TradFi, monetary policy, right? Monetary policy over just the 4-year cycle. He doesn't believe in that necessarily. He believes in more monetary policy, where that's heading. And even that is kind of throwing him off, because this debt cycle could be pushed out a year, right? So I think right now we could be experiencing that fake out and then going into a process of QE. But remember, we don't have to be full blown into QE for numbers to go up, because they're preparing now.
Exactly. And remember Bob Lucas? This is something we kept going over in February. He was talking about a right translated cycle, which would have ended in April, or a left translated cycle that would be, a right translated cycle that would end in April, and a left translated cycle that would end in April of 2024, right? So he basically had these two Aprils. He was saying, if we get a right translated cycle, we're going to end in April of 2026. If we get a left translated cycle, we're going to end in April of 2025. And this is something in February that we went over a lot. And it does look like we're going to be in that right translated cycle. I feel like we hear this information, but we still just kind of, no, I don't think that's it, right? But I mean, Bob Lucas could be right. But then I'm thinking, right, how do they mess with us even further? Well, next cycle, they do a left translated, to where the bull run actually ends in April of the halving year, right? Maybe we run right all the way up until then. Maybe we get a right translated cycle, a left translated cycle, and then just bear market until 2032.
Well, also, Bob Lucas didn't just go with right translated in the beginning. He said these are the options, these are the paths. And actually, he was leaning more towards what we were thinking initially. The shorter, more impactful, blow off the top in a shorter time period. I think he changed probably not too long ago, but that's, in my opinion, that's kind of the importance of having multiple options. I don't think that's a way to sell out or cop out. I think it's intelligent to have that, because no one is claiming to be a fortune teller, and if you are, then you're trying to sell people things that's not true, right? So him having those two options, and Benjamin Cohen has the multiple options all the time as well, but having those two options was just kind of like, this could play out these two ways, right? And it seems like it's going towards that right translated, which could be this extended situation.
Yeah, but Bob Lucas never said there was going to be that middle option, right? He said it was going to be left or right. So
yeah, he did say
for us to think that,
yeah.
For us to think that it was going to be a normal cycle on end of November or a blow off top in November, I think, you know, maybe we were really wrong on that side of it. I mean, everyone in the space was wrong.
Well, so was he in the beginning. You know, he was definitely leaning more towards that as well.
He was the left translator
cycle,
for sure.
You know, maybe we got caught up in it more than him. Maybe not. I can't remember when he flipped his thesis or more.
We stopped really paying
to the
attention
other side to him.
Once he realized it wasn't. Yeah.
Right. And so, but that goes to show that, you know, you can be in the space every single day. If there's a year that's an anomaly like this year, you're going to probably be wrong a lot. Right. And so that's okay, as long as you're learning and adjusting to the changes that have happened.
100%. Glass Hopper says great morning. We got a good morning, and then Webdro says great morning. Stan says, when the Clarity Act drops, will there be a project from being exposed, casualties from being exposed as frauds? I mean, so the only one you can say is Tether, but Tether, they don't want to operate here, so it doesn't matter. They're not going to follow the rules of the Clarity Act.
They have a product
right?
here.
Well, I'm talking about Tether
overall,
the
like the entire
USDT.
entity.
Yeah, not their side entity that has that other currency stablecoin. But and Stan says in the channel's opinion, is a Coinbase credit card worth grabbing?
Yes,
since they are I mean 100%. If
everybody wants that card,
100%. Shout out to Ryan. He says, or Blazing Bandit. He says, "What's up, guys? Appreciate you. Are we ready? Here we go, dude. I think we're ready. I'm actually getting. I know what's going to happen though. I'm going to get super bullish today, and tomorrow I'm going to wake up and my entire board. It's weird, dude. Green and red is like my mood for that day. If I wake up and my entire, and you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I have my trading view right with the stuff that I follow, and look at this. Everything's green except Merlin, but everything was red yesterday except Merlin. Merlin just is the outlier of that. So it's like this right here is my mood. Look at Farcoin up 20% since 8 p.m. last night. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
That's good for the trenches, bro.
And I think even more so than ever, like Fartcoin is really giving kind of a pulse on the risk on stuff. We joke about it, saying that we looked at it and stuff for these how the market's going to go and stuff like that. It was kind of a joke to start off with the crypto bubbles, and then it was really kind of making a lot of sense. And then, but now, if you look at the fact that it's been hanging around, I think as low as like high 20 cents, ranging to like between high 20 and low 40s. That's really bad for Fartcoin that was at, I think, $2+ billion market cap, $2 plus, right? And so what's the price now?
3.8. So what's that? 380
38 cents.
Yeah.
So 380 million. So definitely good in that aspect, and almost kind of chasing dog with hat, which it dominated most of 2025, and then just the last month and a half has been dominated by dog with hat. So the fact that it is going into this upward trajectory, I think is very good news. Now, I do think Fartcoin needs to get back to that 75 to $1, which, that's we got some ways to get there, but it can quickly do that. And we'll see, if it's back to 75 cents, I think the risk on is coming sooner than later.
Yeah. And if you're trench trading, I think you need to pay attention to Fartcoin. If Fartcoin's in a trend like we've seen like this, do not trade meme coins. But when Fartcoin is in an upward trend here, I think that is the time to trade meme coins. Look at this upward trend here. I think this is a sign for you to either trade meme coins or don't trade meme coins. Just look at Fartcoin. I honestly truly believe that this is the leading indicator for all meme coins right now. Could that change later? Could it be something else? Yes, 100%. But right now, I think you need to be looking at that Fartcoin price action. But let's kind of get into our leading topic here today. QT ended. Are whales forcing one last step? So you made this title last night. Yesterday was very bearish going into the night. Yes, so 100%. I think you were 100% right on this title here. Whales are 100% pushing that dip yesterday, and that's kind of why you saw quantitative easing and then they pushed that down, and then as soon as it's done, because it didn't actually start till this morning, right? So December 1st was the last day of quantitative tightening. Today is the first day of pause. So it's kind of like they waited till the exact time that it fully ended.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the tightening being done, I think we overlooked that because, you know, maybe for me personally, I can't speak for you. I think I walked someone through how to get their Merlin swapped and stuff like that. So appreciate the super chat, Biff. Appreciate you. But going back to kind of like the perspective here, because this year has been a mess. I mean, look, guys, like if you were to see our pre-show meetings and you looked at our pre-show meetings when we first started doing this every day, like the energy even from us, and it's like we have to find it. We have to get multiple cups of coffee, but like we know if we get through this time, it's going to be better. But going back to the point here, you know, me personally seeing that like cuts didn't have too much of a crazy good impact and stuff, I overlooked the QT thing. I'll admit that. You know, the fact that QT was stopping, yeah, it was in the back of my mind, but I didn't correlate, okay, they're manipulating price down, getting things cheap, and then we're going to go forward. But it seems to be that's the playbook right now for them.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Think about when we really started doing quantitative tightening. We really started quantitative tightening in December of 2021, right? And we all know what happened in November, December. It was the beginning of the bear market, but it didn't officially go into effect until June. That's when they came out and said, hey, we're officially doing it. But, you know, what they did was basically kind of what they're doing right now. So if you guys are paying attention to the Fed balance sheet like I am, the Federal Reserve conducted a $13.5 billion overnight repo operation on December 1st. So the day they start, they stop tightening, they do a little bit of easing, not officially easing, but almost like the same thing they did in December, where it was unofficial tightening. And now they're doing unofficial easing. This is the beginning of the bull market, in my opinion. Today marks the day of the bull market because they're doing exactly the same thing that started the bear market. The same exact thing. They officially, they officially do a pause, but they're also doing a little bit of what they're going to do. And that's kind of what started the bear market. And in my opinion, this starts the bull market for all coins.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that, that's why I said, don't expect QE to just like start happening left and right. Right. Even though like you're bringing up a chart that they did inject, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's like, but that doesn't mean that like we can't have a bullish energy. That is kind of what I'm doing, is sitting back. I'm in, some pretty risk on environments with Spark, Flashnet, and then the Monad ecosystem. But I'm just kind of chilling, trying to trade, get my positions better, that type of situation. But I'm watching to see how some of these big whale accounts start to play this. Are they going to start buying these blue chips, these majors, and some strong mid caps that have shown strength at these cheap prices right now to prepare? Because as you always say, markets are forward looking, including our market, right? Especially the whales. They're smart. That's how they became whales, right? And then that's just the more crypto native whales I'm talking about. And then you have the institutions. How are they going to play this? They're obviously going to be looking more towards Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, some of those safer blue chips, right? And it starts down there and there's a trickle down effect, right? Just like the stock market, right? You start with the top 10 stocks, the indices, the indices, the top 10 stocks, and then it trickles down to, the lower market caps, but potential. And then you get all the way down to, these higher risk tech stocks, right? So we're going to see how this plays out for our industry, because we are the industry that hasn't really had any risk on benefit from, our risk on market.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing too is like, so, when we stopped quantitative easing in December of 2021, right? It took 6 months for them to, officially say quantitative tightening. So it might take 6 months from here to officially go into easing. But you got to remember what happened when they went from, easing to pause. The bear market started. It took 6 months to realize it was a bear market, but it was. So I think it's going to take 6 months from this point for us to realize we're in a bull run. But there's a lot of time in between to kind of grow and exchange. So this thing could really go until May. I know I've been saying it and pushing this for a while, but I do believe that May will be that blow off top that we've been expecting. And I think we get a blow off top. I truly do when it comes to altcoins, but I do think it's going to take 6 months from the day they stop the tightening And then I think in May, obviously we get a new Fed chairman, right? What comes with him? Probably easing, right? So I think it all kind of lines up to that point. And I do think the new Fed chairman, though, is going to be buy the rumor, sell the news, because everyone's going to be prepared for him to go do everything possible. But I think that's why we get this run up to get the new Fed. And then once the new Fed is in, then markets just dump.
Yeah. That definitely could be the way that things roll out, right? Or it could be, a little bit extended as well, because if he's going to continue it through the next, or when he first gets in and then the following 6 months or something, I think they want 2026 in general up into the midterms to be a positive year economically, right? They're going to do everything they can. But my question to you is, you're saying that December, you kind of felt like we're not going to get that Santa rally. Are you still in that position?
Yeah, I think we get back to above 100 going into the end of the year. I don't see a Santa rally. If you want to call that a Santa rally, I think you're okay. But I think so. Taking a look at like coin, I do think we end the month green, right? Let me find that chart
Coin
here.
glass.
Coin glass, yeah. So I do think we're going to finish the month green, but I think it's going to be like 3%. I don't see us. I think we go like another like 6% from here, get up to like 102, 104. But I don't see a really big push up until January. I think January is going to excel. I think we're going to see a 39 to 40% January.
Gotcha. What about risk on stuff? Do they see a little bit of energy being injected into the risk on parts of our space, or do you feel like those are going to be quiet until we get to next year?
I do feel like risk on's coming, and I do think, but I think we need the king to move first, right? When the king moves 40%, I think that's when the whole ecosystem realizes, okay. But the one thing to pay attention to is seeing if the altcoins sell off into Bitcoin. If the altcoins do not sell off into Bitcoin, which I think a lot of these altcoins are beaten down so bad that the holders are just holding, right? There's no retail left. Everyone in there is long-term holders of these coins, right? If you're still holding these coins, you are a diehard and you're not selling into Bitcoin at that point, right? So I do think we're going to see Bitcoin and alts kind of go up, and this time is going to be different in the sense of altcoins moving with Bitcoin, maybe outpacing Bitcoin, where dominance drops to 52, even 49 by the end of January, potentially even 30 by the end of May.
Yeah, that'd be a good setup, right? Heading into the summer, really. But one thing that I just thought about whenever you were breaking that down was this cycle, the people that usually got out and new participants came in and they kind of dumped on them, whatever you want to call it. I don't look at it as like a malicious thing. It was just kind of how the cycle would work. They are actually bag holders for like the first time in forever, right? Because especially the ones that came back from 2017 and they experienced 2021, they know the game, and they're the ones, like you said, if they're holders, then they're holders at this point. They're frustrated. I think a lot of them are frustrated, but at the same time, maybe we're coming into this next phase to where, they might be able to have some wins here because that's what they're used to.
Yeah. I think they get them. I just think you got to be patient, right? They're not going to make it easy for you, right? The big boys are not going to make this easy for you. But I think easy mode comes on. It's just going to be a lot further down the line than you actually expected originally. But Grayscale believes the 4-year cycle. Why does that do that? It's so annoying. I'm dealing with this new thing with these damn banners where they just go on for 10 seconds. I don't know why StreamYard would do this, but they did. But I'll deal with it. Grayscale believes a Bitcoin's 4-year cycle thesis will prove incorrect, expecting Bitcoin to make new highs next year in its latest research. And then you have Binance ex-founder founder CZ says he predicts many more all-time highs coming soon. So you have Grayscale and the founder of Binance coming out and saying all-time highs coming soon and 2026.
Yeah. So Grayscale is basically saying throw that 4-year cycle of Bitcoin's, topping and then just going into this awful bearish, time frame and then taking for another 3 years to build back up to have another top. Is going out the window. Exactly. There's some really good people that are good at forecasting and doing TA and all that stuff that agree with that. Like the 4-year cycle is most likely out. It's most likely done, right? I think there will always be some event around the halving, but other than that, I think that 4-year cycle could be gone. And then you have CZ, one of the biggest people in our space. Now, these headlines and stuff, you gotta be careful, right? Sometimes people are pushing headlines out. This, I don't believe that's the case. This, I think that's most of us kind of start to believe this now, that the 4-year cycle is most likely out the window.
And CZ isn't like one of those guys where he's wrong, right? He's not Jim Cramer. When he comes out, like, prices doesn't dip the next day. CZ, he's very locked in when it comes to Binance and with how Binance the CEO thinking. How often do you think the Binance CEO calls CZ? I think they're on the phone at least for 20 minutes a day. Like, honestly, right? So I think CZ is really tapped in to what the Binance CEO is thinking. In that sense, I think he's stupid not to get CZ's advice daily, right? Or even at least weekly. And I think CZ's really tapped in. You got to remember, Binance is one of the biggest people sending Bitcoin and Ethereum to Wintermute. And I think that's over. I think they're going to start sending USDT to Wintermute to start buying up from these other places to make sure that they have enough when the time comes.
Yeah, and look, CZ, you can kind of compare him to like a founder similar to like Steve Jobs, right? Like, CZ had a passion. He actually sold all his real estate whenever he went into build Binance, right? And then he did raise some money, but when you build something that large, it's hard to let go of control, right? And so I'm sure, I don't know if it's 20 minutes every day. It could be more. Could be less, but there's consistent communication, I'm sure, with that. And then he always has his, finger on the pulse of the market. He knows pretty much what's going to happen next. I imagine.
100%. And I don't think he's going to come out and Jim Cramer this. I think he's going to be right here when he says all-time highs coming soon. So, all right, this is really awesome. So SEC Chair Paul Atkins, the guy who took Gary Gensler's job, says innovation exemption for crypto firms is coming in January. What does that mean? Well, in January, they will let crypto firms launch products in the U.S. with lighter rules while still meeting basic protection. It aims to boost onshore crypto growth. So what does this mean? Let's just say you have a token out there and it's very centralized, almost like a security, where you're going to have a 2-year window potentially that will allow you to conduct business in the U.S. as a security, but not fully under that laws, and allow you to decentralize or have a governance token to make you pass the Howey test to say you're a commodity and not a security, right? Like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like some of these other ones that are decentralized, even though they're not decentralized, but it'll allow you time to decentralize to make yourself get off the securities and be a regulated coin in the US. I think this is the biggest thing to happen. And the biggest part of this is he puts a date on there when he says January. So January, he's going to come out. They're going to have lighter rules for everything. So you know how you go to a website and it says, you're geo-blocked for whatever reason? That's going to end next year because now these companies will have 2 years. And most companies don't live for 2 years in crypto, right? So they'll have the lifespan of their product being able to, conduct business in the U.S.
Yeah, and I like this because it's a clear kind of decision that they're making here. Also, it sets the precedent of, look, we're going to be relaxed a bit, but we're watching, we're trying to form this market structure or this regulation structure of the market. And so even though I think people will feel comfortable, they'll still have a thought in the back of their mind that, hey, look, we still have eyes on us, so we got to do the right thing. And if people aren't doing the right thing, they have eyes on them, right? So and those rules will kind of be out to them. So I think this is really good for innovation. And most of the companies that come out of the US, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna try to get some funding, they're gonna have some backing, so they're gonna be some serious products, I imagine. But it's gonna be interesting to see what comes out of it, like what projects early Q1 in 2026 kind of come out of this innovative period that we're going to be going through.
100%. I'm actually, there's gonna be a lot of opportunity. I'll tell you that. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity in the next 6 months. Myself says crypto is the future of finance, and TradFi knows that. Crypto revolution cannot be stopped. It cannot. The on-chain revolution cannot be stopped. And myself says all coins will pump. Shout out to myself. Thank you so much, man.
Shout out.
Moving along. So $11 trillion Vanguard officially lists BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF with trading set to go live tomorrow, which is actually today when I put this up. So
Ain't that something?
it's funny. I know. And Watcher Guru has a good post here. They said, how it started versus how it's going. Vanguard CEO says they will not offer spot Bitcoin ETF because it does not belong in a long-term portfolio and it's not a store of value. And then yesterday, $11 trillion Vanguard allows clients to buy crypto ETFs. It's only a matter of time before you have to give in. You can be $11 trillion Vanguard, doesn't matter. You will eventually get your customers what they want, no matter what you truly believe. And, if you're against it, whatever. And it's crazy. The difference is what happens in a matter of a year.
Well, and this also just, can add to the pile of events that has happened in this very short period of time to make me think that this was a complete plan to bring Bitcoin back to those prices, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Vanguard, that was very against offering this type of product, the day that QT ends, decides to put out this new policy, right? So, new product, really, and so to me, this was just a plan to get the prices to where they wanted them, and now we can kind of move forward. Do I think Bitcoin's going to 200,000 this month? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that these guys that have power, these entities that have power, they kind of did a power move and faked retail completely out to the left and was buying up, and now we can kind of just continue forward into this new period.
Yeah, and some of the bigger players in the space are saying that the pump today is due to Vanguard for the first time allowing their clients to buy and buying for their clients, right? Because as of yesterday, they weren't allowed to put anything in their clients, no matter how bad they wanted it. They, now those same clients are just like, hey, we offer it now. Do you want it? Yeah, throw 1% in there for me. And that could be why we're seeing this pull up from 86 to 91 this morning.
Yeah, and you're talking about a juggernaut that is comparable to BlackRock, by the way, because I think
second,
BlackRock
right? They're number
manages,
2.
yeah, BlackRock manages maybe 13 trillion, while Vanguard manages 11 trillion. So I think it falls off pretty significantly after that. Fidelity maybe number 3 at 7 or 6 trillion. So the two-headed monster are now both in the game. That's a big significant thing, right, to happen there. So we'll see how it plays out, right? And also they're selling BlackRock product, so that's interesting. But I get it; they probably didn't want to create their own and go through all that, and so they're just selling that product to their clients. And these type of clients that have become very wealthy or had their wealth managed by Vanguard, I'm sure there's a lot of them that weren't going to go to BlackRock just because they offered the Bitcoin ETF. They were just patiently waiting and saying, I trust, my, rep and, them managing my wealth and stuff like that. So now they can do it through their Vanguard account. And we're going to see how much of an effect this has.
Yeah. And think about who Vanguard, clients are. I mean, we're talking the Rothschilds, right? We're talking some of the biggest, most powerful people in the world, the people who really pull the strings, right? Now they potentially you could see the Rothschilds getting into stuff like this. And when I say the Rothschilds, I just mean people like them, the elite of the elite of the world.
That's a small group that's in that. But you're talking about like the kind of old
No,
money.
I mean the elites of the elite. Like I'm talking about there's many families like the Rothschilds. They're just not, their names is not as prominent as that last name, right? But I mean, there's probably I guarantee you, 3 trillion of that 11 is like 3 families. You know what I mean? It's like maybe 4 families, 5 families. Like you got to remember these people, like how much money these people actually have. But yeah, I think Bezos is a part of that as well. And in that sense, like he has, probably has funds in there as well.
See,
so
I like the American versions of those. Like he definitely has a lot of money. But I look at like the Ford family, the Rockefeller family, like that is comparable in my opinion, because they actually all have a close relationship, right?
Well,
with
that's
those
what's kind of
globalists.
neat. Rothschilds and Rockefeller. That's what I'm talking about, right? Those families for sure. But not just that, right? So Bank of America officially recommends clients put up to 4% of their portfolio in Bitcoin and crypto. 4%. This is something that 4 years ago you had people coming out like Michael Saylor saying, "Hey, I think everyone should have 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin." Now Bank of America is saying 4%. This is absolutely insane. This is insane, dude. That's a lot of money. Imagine if 4% of the world was in crypto. I mean, it would be $100 trillion asset.
Yeah, and this is another thing, right? So like the puzzle's getting put together here, in my opinion, right? I mean, this is a huge announcement. Like, first of all, this is risky for Bank of America to come out and publicly put this announcement out there, right? And if it was truly the banks and JP Morgan, look, I don't think Jamie Dimon loves Bitcoin, but I don't think that he's stupid either. And the people that are in that C-suite group of JP Morgan's company, they know that like Bitcoin, there's a big opportunity to make money with it. But man, I feel like more and more I hear these headlines just from yesterday and today. I feel like just the fake out was so real.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the last thing before price action, CZ-owned Trust Wallet has launched predictions, a built-in prediction market hub starting with Myriad. How do you say that? Myriad, letting users trade on real-world events. So Trust Wallet, if you do have it, you'll now be able to do predictions markets in the wallet using Myriad or whatever it is. Myriad. Poly markets coming soon, and Kalshi's coming soon as well. So, and they're going to aggregate these markets to make sure you guys are getting the best prices and stuff, which I thought was really cool. But shout out to Trust Wallet. I didn't know CZ owned Trust Wallet. I mean, goddamn, this guy he owns everything.
That's what I used back in 2021 to get into BSC projects, was Trust Wallet. But yeah, predictions markets. This is pretty crazy. If you're alive right now and you're in this industry, we're going into something that's like completely new for, it's not sports betting. There's similarities, right? But it's a completely different product, right? And so now they're starting to get integrated everywhere in Web3, and Web3 is leading that, by the way. That's where that came from, right? So you might sit there and say, because I've seen on the timeline all the time, crypto hasn't done anything with innovation for people's lives. That's not true. I mean, poly market is huge. It's affected the election, or at least people look to it to get information about who they felt like was going to win. And that's only going to get bigger and bigger. You see it, them partnering with the major sports brands and organizations and leagues and stuff like that. So this is just the beginning for predictions, and we're here for it.
Yeah. I mean, the two biggest innovations right now in crypto are prediction markets and leverage trading, right? And I didn't realize this till recently, but leverage trading was never a thing in stock market. It was created in the crypto markets. They have options over there, right? Which is it's similar to prediction market. I mean, similar to leverage trading, but it's not the same. But so, I mean, and decentralized leverage trading, where you're not betting against Binance anymore. It's PvP. Crypto has created two PvP markets. Predictions markets, which is taking over the sports betting and all betting really, and then you have leverage trading, decentralized PvP, basically. I mean, if you're not understanding what crypto is bringing, it's bringing innovation. Yes, it's very early, but there's gonna be a lot more to follow up on this. I think we're gonna see a lot more innovation happening. It's not gonna stop with predictions markets and leverage trading.
Yeah, I mean, technically, leverage isn't, the perps isn't, or is PvP from like a technique, if you want to break it down. But you got to remember that I look at them as the house, those big whales that are providing liquidity, right? And they're really kind of just trying to liquidate everybody, right? But at the end of the day, that, and you know how the game is.
It's PvP. You're just on level 1, they're on level 100. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So if you go into a PvP game and you're like a level 4 and you try to run up against someone level 36, you're gonna get smacked in the face, right?
True.
All right. Well, actually, no, we're gonna get into some Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles. I'm excited for this, dude. I think you're gonna be bullish today. I think you're gonna be bullish today. I think you're gonna put a smile on a lot of people's faces out here. Let's go. I don't know how I guess. I'm excited though.
For sure. Before we get into the Bitcoin price action, help us out like you guys always do. You guys are awesome. On the YouTube side, smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on. All that great stuff. And then on X, let's share the space. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Same thing with Abstract Crew, Pump Fund Streams, Zora, all those, Kick, Twitch, and Rumble. plus Spotify. I got them all this time. All right, let's take a look here at the Bitcoin price action, starting with, can you guess the hour chart? And let me pull your screen down there and see if this pulls up here. There we go. All right, like we've pretty much recouped everything that was manipulated to the downside. You can see that here, right? Interesting pattern there. It's like a reverse Bart Simpson. But you can see, you know, like we were sitting here at 92K on Sunday, right? To really just get to that wick that bottomed out here on Monday morning to 83,000, right? Almost all the way back to where we were when we almost went under 80K. But now we're sitting back above here, right? So we're sitting at right below 91K. So you know, this week is going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the week plays out, right? QT officially ended yesterday, and we'll see if there's a continuation of bullish price action for Bitcoin. Obviously, today is bullish, right? Especially for that hour. I think it definitely did some things to the 4-hour and daily, but we'll get into that in a second. As you can see here, MACD looks strong. Looks like we want to have some continuation here. We have been in overbought territory, though, since yesterday at noon. Right. So that's kind of when this started. You know, getting up there wasn't really the accomplishment. It was being able to sustain up here and then start this rally back to the upside. But really, most of that came with 3 huge hour candles, right? Starting at 7 a.m. Central Time, so 8 a.m. Eastern this morning. And so let's see where we are with kind of support and resistance here. Going back to this area, and then we'll pull this up. Let me pull this down a little bit. There we go. All right. Okay, at the 90,700 area, support is definitely showing strength here. Volume's kind of mid here, but you know, we're looking strong. Definitely looking strong. Above here, it does balance back out, but still have the advantage to the support side. And in this really low volume area, support's winning too. So, you know, we could definitely bump up here and maybe, you know, have a continuation of this uptrend heading towards 91.5. You know, and that's kind of where I feel like we could get a little bit choppy here, though, you know, because we are starting this candle red. Could have a little bit of chop, maybe have that continuation later on in the day. We'll keep track of kind of the battle here between support and resistance, though. So the hour looks great. The hour looks great. Will we have a sustained kind of run here? You know, I wouldn't be shocked the next 2 to 3 hours. We do have this choppiness between 90 and 91,000, right? I wouldn't be too worried if we break below 90,000, unless, you know, another headline comes out or something like that, right? I just feel like today and yesterday, late yesterday, the headlines that came out were very telling of, you know, the last 3 weeks. You know, you're having huge entities come out and be extremely bullish on Bitcoin and crypto, and that's just, we haven't seen that very, very often the way we did the past 2 days. So that to me is a bullish sign, but we still need to see, you know, Bitcoin show some strength here and not fall immediately back. That is something that we got to keep track of, right? So the hour chart, choppy between 90 and 91 is my kind of forecast here. Wouldn't be shocked if we bump above 91, though, and we get to, like, you know, that 92, 93 range. That could be on the table here. Got to see how the rest of today plays out, right? So that's where we are for the hour chart. Let's take a look here at the 4-hour. Of course, it reset on me. Let's take a look here. Cool. All right. So the 4-hour going strong here on the MACD, right? So we finished this nasty sell pressure. That was pretty nasty, by the way. And we're starting a buy pressure session, starting off pretty strong. Can we have a continuation of the strength? That's going to be very, very important to see. I think we get to 92, 93 today. We can have that, right? And then we can actually finish the week pretty strong. You know, I do think, you know, getting back above 100K is on the table for the next week and a half. But first, let's get through this week, right? Because it's been so volatile. And so the 4-hour looks great right now for the setup. Let's see how long we can hang up here in the overbought territory, and if we can start a true reversal, which means kind of getting above this, right? We're just kind of eating back what we lost at this point. So we need to see another leg start here. That's going to be very, very important. And we might get sideways before that happens. So just be patient here and, you know, I would say soak in kind of the win today, right? But that's the 4-hour for us. Let's take a look at the daily. The daily is here. Bam. So this is in my opinion, really, really important because we almost lost the daily here yesterday, right? And now we're seeing a reversal. When we see a reversal like this, if we have this continuation for today, like the hour chart looks good, this could really turn into like an aggressive, buy pressure session. And for December, is it early? Maybe, but maybe we get the Santa rally before Christmas. Maybe we get that before Christmas. That could happen, right? So as of right now, I like what I see, but I'm not going to get too excited. The daily chart looks like it wants to kind of have this reversal of the trend reversal, right? But we could see sideways here too, because having a trend just kind of stop abruptly without any sideways is not really normal. So if we do have some sideways here for the next couple of days, I'm okay with that. And then we start that uptrend, right? Just staying above 90, in my opinion, is really, really important. Now it is, like I said, fluctuating back and forth, choppiness right now between 90 and 91. So I'm okay with that. As long as we don't get back to like 86, to me, that would be something very defeating, right? Because then we would lose the daily, we would lose the 4 hour. The 4 hour would just turn into a crappy buy pressure momentum session. And so we just need sustainability right now. So I really like where the daily is. Let's get into some Ethereum here. Yeah, it does feel good to talk about price action whenever price is looking pretty decent. So that's the weekly chart. Let's get back to the hourly here. Okay, so the hourly looks great for Ethereum, and we're right under 3K, right? So we did wick above 3,000. I think, getting back over 3,000 would be very important as quick as possible. Obviously, it's still following Bitcoin. As you see, this pattern looks almost exactly like the pattern that I showed you with Bitcoin's hour chart. But, it does even look even a little bit more aggressive, right? So this peel back after hitting 3,000, not surprised. Probably sideways too, like Bitcoin, like I said, right? But getting it back above 3,000 is going to be an important price point, in my opinion, because that will kind of trigger getting back above this, which was really, that huge downfall, and then starting that next leg up, starting that uptrend will be very, very important. So that is Ethereum. Not much different on the 4 hour as Bitcoin's 4 hour. Very similar, looks similar with the indicators as well. Same thing with the daily. Bounce back up here. So kind of following the king there in Bitcoin. If you look at the crypto bubbles, it's looking pretty today. It looks like a bunch of bright green. You're seeing some crazy bounce backs though. You see Pangu up 28% here. SPX up 21%. And the thing is that the memes got hit the hardest the past couple days, so it makes sense for those to really jump up. But then you see something like a blockchain token here, Sui, up 20%, so that's pretty significant in the uptick there. And you see Cardano up 14%. So all in all, some of these stronger tokens are anywhere between 9 and 12 to 14% of a rebound, and on the meme side even more, with kind of having in that upper teens and lower 20% bounce back range, right? You see MakerDAO up 15%, the KuCoin KCS up 10%, Tau up 9% as well. So things are looking pretty good here. You got Crow 2 up 10% there. Let's take a look at the top.
That's amazing, dude. That looks so good.
Definitely looking good here. Dog with Hat up 22%, sitting at 404. So 404 million. Let's see Fartcoin up almost 29%, right? So it's catching it. We haven't, we haven't really seen it try to catch it, lately. So I have a feeling it's going to surpass it. If we truly go into this risk on, it's going to surpass Dog with Hat. They've been kind of battling out. Well, it's been more really Dog with Hat dominating Fartcoin the past 2 months. But before that, Fartcoin was dominating big time. Yeah. But the catch up looks like it's starting to happen, and we'll see. Monad having a bounce back here, back to 3 cents, right? So it wasn't as good as it was on day one, where it went to almost 5 cents, but it got back down to 0.023. So this is a good kind of run back up, I would say. Let's see if it can sustain it and even try to creep back to 4 and then maybe 5. You do see Merlin down, like you mentioned. It is at 34 cents here, but it's been pretty much dominating. It was pretty high yesterday, so I'm not shocked there. Turbo is up 41%. This thing's been running. This thing's been running the past couple days, right? So interesting. Probably some turbo whales on the Arbitrum chain trying to
I think
get this.
Arbitrum is starting to get going again. I think you got to Arbitrum, dude. They launched in 2022, September of 2022. Man, what a life cycle that token has had. It's just been just bear market the entire time, right? Especially for Bitcoin L2s.
Yeah, for sure. Bitcoin L2s? You mean ETH L2s?
Yeah, Ethereum. Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, so pretty much very similar, right? So some of these solid mid caps bouncing back 9 to 12%. You're seeing some of these memes that have been struggling, bouncing up really strong, like Filecoin, Pippin here at 27%, and Zora up 18% as well. So that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alt market for you guys. It looks good, but I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, or I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, I should say. But I like where we are as a whole for the entire market.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into the roll call here, where first is first, and shout out to the great Webdro, my man. Really appreciate you, my friend. He says, hustle was the first tweet. Shout out to Webdro. Absolutely awesome. It does look like Webdro is going to win this. I mean, you have now number 61 on the year. So congratulations to you. So you got about 28 days for your proud owner of a new Bitcoin frog. So I don't know how much are they going for these days. Probably whooped from where we bought it back in like February. But shout out to Arita TV, says GM to the moon. He says Mongob up. What? Mongob? What are you buying here, buddy? 23% after reporting earnings beat. Lots of good fundamentals these days. What are you? Is that a stock? Let me know what that is. Tink says, good morning, Kings. Good morning, Tink.
Yo,
ASAP Benji is here. Shout out to ASAP Benji. I haven't heard about runes in a while. I don't think anyone has, Benji. I don't think anyone has, buddy. Bitcoin is truth is here. Abstract. Chips and dip, my guy. Spindrift Crypto says QT is over. Yes, it is. Glass Hoppers here with a good morning. Webdro with a good morning. Stan, my guy. Appreciate you every single day. Ryan, every single day. He's like, don't say that. No. What did I say? I don't remember what I said.
I wonder if he's maybe the price action of Bitcoin kind of going sideways. I'm not sure.
Tim Baker says the Coinbase credit card is awesome. Looks like Tim Baker getting that Coinbase credit card. Tim Baker should have kept my Merlin in the beginning and should have left my. But yes, Jeff told us if you would have left your Bitcoin stake there, your one Bitcoin would have been 3 at this point, which is pretty nuts to think about.
But you did make the right play, Tim. Whenever you only staked Bitcoin, so kudos to you for that. That was a smart play.
Tim was. Dude, he was the smartest when it came to that stuff. That's what you should have done. Sell everything, and then as you get the Bitcoin from selling, put it in Merlin for sure. Not working today. Can you reply in the chat? Yeah. Okay. So myself says crypto is the future. Shout out, got that one already. And that's all. That's all the comments today, guys. We need more comments, guys. Please help us out with some more comments today. Really appreciate you guys every single day. He said it's a database company used by AI tools on MongoDB.
Mongo database.
Interesting for sure. But thanks again to our super chat, Biff Reynolds. Absolutely awesome. Appreciate every single one of you guys, man, who makes roll call each and every day. All right, but let's get away from roll call and get into some more fun stuff. So I guess we'll start off with Spark Flashnet relaunch day 1 recap. So if you were paying attention to the show yesterday, we talked about the launch of Flashnet on Spark. Flashnet is the basically the Uniswap of Spark, right? They're handling all the smart contracts and all that stuff for swapping. And you saw tokens, some tokens get kicked in the face, like Beta Cat went from 300,000 to about 119. But then you saw tokens like Soon, who is now sitting around $3 million. Did you see that happening? Soon going from roughly 600K yesterday to 9. I'm sorry, to 3 million. I meant 3 million.
I did expect it to have a bounce. I just felt like there was so many people that were involved with the Spark ecosystem corralling around it. But I think it might go higher. But we'll see, right? That's if the overall markets kind of give the risk on areas a little bit of liquidity. We'll see. But I think it runs pretty strong. We'll see what happens with the continuation.
So what was your overall opinion about this? After you give yours, I'll give mine. But right now, you're seeing only 2 coins really run, and that's Soon Coin and Buckcoin. Everything else has been pretty much dead. XBT came out a little strong, but it's really just Buckcoin and Soon, the only 2 real runners over here.
Yeah. So the other ones, I'm kind of not shocked about Beta Cat getting dumped. I actually think that could be one of those future plays that breaks out later. But as of right now, it seems to be pretty beat up. The Dragon Coin is something that I expected to perform a little bit better.
Yeah,
but you have to remember, the first 2 attempts to launch Spark Flashnet wasn't the best experience for people. People felt like their Bitcoin was locked up in these tokens because they, where you could you could sell them the old way, which is, for people that aren't used to it, friction. Yeah. Right. And so I think the first day was probably how, looking back, hindsight, how it probably you would think it would play out, to be honest, because people had the bad taste in their mouths. Right now, I think that they can build a ton off of this because there hasn't been any stoppages, there hasn't been issues with the tech. And to go back to what I was saying earlier, you and I were frustrated because Luminex was cached, meaning like our old versions of their website was what we were seeing, and we had to do a control shift R, which resets our cache, right? We didn't know that. And so for us, we're just like, because of the previous experiences, we're just like, God, they can't get this right. They can't get this right. And so people probably didn't give too long of a leash. Right now, I feel like after we did reset that, everything's been really smooth. I actually, tested out everything, and it's really, really good. And I think that they have an opportunity to kind of rebuild this, right? They have the resources to do it. They have like an approach to the East. I don't know how aggressive or effective it is. They might need to tweak that, however they're doing it. But they have an opportunity to really have a thriving ecosystem, but they probably need to get pretty aggressive with the marketing and win some trust back, I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think they are. I think they will. I think they have good people ahead of them. I just think that, one, they've been bad with communication. Communication is not their strong suit, obviously. And then 2, I think the launch time, putting it to 3 a.m. China, was a huge mistake. I think that was the biggest mistake that they've done so far when it comes to doing stuff, because, and they might come back and say, hey, listen, when we launched at 6 p.m. Eastern time, which was 6 a.m. for China, we just need like 30 minutes of things are running good, and then it's fine. And by doing that, by putting at 3 a.m. China, I think that was the best case scenario, because now everything's running good, everything's fine. But by doing that, you also exclude your Asian participants who might now not want to get into the market. I'm in a chat right now where this one guy said, I have a friend in China, and he said that Spark just reminds them of Runes, and it's just the Runes guys who are participating. And that's the reason why Runes failed, in my opinion. Runes didn't fail because anything else, but is because China decided not to participate as a whole. China whales, China, they did not want anything to do with Runes because they felt like Runes were just coming there to destroy their BRC20 bags, right? They felt like Casey, shouldn't have built Runes, and it wasn't focused to them, it was focused to the US. And we saw Runes was a complete disaster. So that's my only worry right now, is if China doesn't participate. Should I be worried?
No, because if they say it's just like Runes, then they're not even messing with the platform. It's nothing like Runes, in terms of the experience. When you were buying Runes, there was high friction. There was tokens that had tickers that were so long, and a lot of the East were having trouble trying to figure out which was the right one and which was the wrong one, because there was like these 13 character tickers, which was probably one of the dumbest things that came out of Runes, by the way. And but this is not like that. If anything, this is like Odin.
Well, that's the difference, though, is right. So this is they're basically saying that this is the Odin of Runes, while Odin was like their it's their thing. They love Odin. They love what Bob has built and everything. I don't think they meant that in the sense of the tech. I think they meant that in the sense of participants, right? Because a lot of the the Runes guys didn't participate in Odin. It was a very select few.
I
You did have
disagree with
early.
that.
You have Udi and stuff like that, but there wasn't a lot of people in the early days. A lot of them didn't like it. I mean, talking
Everybody I
the
knew.
shit. No, dude, I'm telling you, it was not like this on Xcale. I was so many haters to what was happening from Odin in the early days of Runes, because Runes were still a thing back then. People were still bullish on Runes, and they're like, this is not Runes. You saw a lot of hate on Odin in the very early days.
Sure, but like you saw a lot of people that participated in Runes participate on Odin in the beginning, and to the point to where they were building tools and stuff like that. You had Pepe, what was it called? The Odin Pepe, where they had a complete website with tool sets and all these things. Well, I'll tell you what I saw in my perspective of what happened over there is the Runes guys and some of the West, not necessarily all of them, but people that definitely participated in Runes, all went to Odin in the beginning. They tried to get some momentum. They launched, tokens, tools, and stuff, and they would hit like a short ceiling with a lot of their market caps. And then you had some ICP from the Western side come over and do their thing and try to launch their tokens. I think China kind of sat back and was like, all right, because there was no like Chinese tokens really taking off at that point.
China loved the Bob tokens. They were all in the Bob tokens.
Sure,
They were the reason why
Bob
it
tokens,
went to 30 million.
Yeah, okay, so the Bob tokens, okay? So the Bob, but it wasn't just China, it was the West too that was big time into those Bob tokens. I remember being in the Pep Odin's
the West
chat.
is not taking anything to 30 million and leaving it.
I'm not saying they did, but they were in those tokens too, though. They were like talking to each other in the alpha chats. I was in them. So hold on, let me.
I remember looking into the Bob tokens. That was all Chinese writing.
Let me finish my point here. So my point is that I felt like the West kind of ran dry with success. Like a lot of these tokens were topping off at like 3, 5, 700,000. Some would get to like 2 million, depending on. I think there was I think it was called Spark too. It was the Spark token that was by the B Life team or whatever that got to like 4 million and all that stuff. Then like I felt like the West was like, okay, there's not much money over here. Then all of a sudden out of nowhere, BitCat like just takes off and it goes absolutely crazy. And then you had weird tokens, and then you start to see the Chinese like cabal tokens that start to get really strong and aggressive. There was some incidents that happened in between, obviously, like the hacks and stuff like that. So there was a shift in kind of leader of token market caps and stuff. Eventually, the Chinese tokens were all the leaders, and that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, exactly. But like to say the Chinese weren't running that back then, I think is kind of wrong in the sense of we've seen BitCat like day 2, day 3. I mean, we've seen BitDog, which was a fully Chinese community. I mean,
but they didn't push that until later. They didn't push it until way later.
But you saw the early days of that. You're not seeing that on Spark. You're not seeing.
They have way more dominance, like starting, I would say, like 5 months ago, 6, maybe 5 months ago, than they did in the beginning. And a lot of the West doesn't even play over there anymore at all.
They don't. This is an East. This is fully East. I think Bob should just take this fully Chinese. But like honestly, and then I do think that he does definitely needs help pushing this out to the West, and I think that should be his main priority now. He has the East locked in; they're set now. Let's potentially try to get some of the West right now. But I just think that we're just not seeing the early, and I think the Chinese are butthurt about 3 a.m. start. I truly believe that, because the fact that we had Chinese, we had Pi, we had BitCat, we had all these things on day 2 of Spark, and yesterday we saw nothing at all. No Chinese tokens, barely any Chinese in any of the chats, almost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to work for the marketing approach that Spark's taking with them, they're definitely going to take their time. They're not a group of people that are impulsive to run. They don't want to run a token up where there's a lot of Western participants that are just going to buy in and ride the coattails and dump on them. That's what they don't want to do, and that's why I feel like with Odin, they took their time, and until they got to complete domination, and they felt like, okay, now the Western participants that are still here, they kind of believe in what we're doing and stuff like that, right? They're not the ones that are just going to try to extract.
Yeah. But my thing is, like, I don't see any Chinese in here, like, in any of them. This looks like this would
there
be
was some on day one, you're right. Like, but like I'm not
day one
seeing,
and day two. Yeah.
I'm not seeing much anymore.
And
I
I think they're
haven't been in the
butthurt about
chats
the launch,
though.
dude. I
I
mean,
haven't really
I'm
been
looking
in
in
the
the
chats.
chats. You're seeing no Chinese, none whatsoever. And
Maybe
you know,
Beta
a lot.
Cat. There's some talking in there, but they're probably just like it's dead.
Yeah,
Or
there. If
something like that.
I think that was the biggest mistake, dude. I think the biggest mistake there
Oh,
was
no. There's one
potentially,
right there.
yeah. So there's one 21 hours ago, right? And then I feel like there's another one. So Beta Cat definitely has the Chinese in there. They might try
That's
to
why
run this back up, though.
that's what I'm saying. But like I don't want to say that because now they're like,
Yeah,
oh, never mind. Plan changed. You know what I mean? They're
yeah.
just they're really good about, you know, look, I mean, I'm not
Look
saying
at this from
coordinated
1 month
pumps
ago.
necessarily, but like they build their communities. They have their communities of where they want to go into a token and build that like unity to get it higher.
Mhm.
You know, and they're just really good at that. But they're
Yeah.
really smart too, and they'll take their time, and if they feel like they're going to get extracted, then they will stop it right in its tracks.
I think these launch pads, especially Luminex, who, you know, we know is from Asia, or we think is from Asia, they need to figure out a way to get Asian more involved. 100%. All right. So anything else with Spark did we leave out?
Well, yeah, I think one thing that the audience can expect from Spark and Flashnet, and by the way, I think you did a good job of explaining that, you know, they are like the Uniswap, but I think they go a little bit further too, because they are the programmability infrastructure for Spark. Without them, you don't have programmability at all. And so the fact that they can be up and running like this without incident, which is obviously like that was like the first thing that everybody's been checking, is a huge thing. And then now we're going to see how much, you know, because there's supposedly predictions markets that are going to be launched on Spark and these things that need programmability. So, you know, Ethan Marcus heading Flashnet is going to be huge for Spark. It's going to be humongous. Without it, you can't do these programmable functions with tokens, with no smart contract stuff, right? And so with it, it's that's what it is.
I mean, you could but like Uniswap though, right? You couldn't do anything on ETH before Uniswap, right? Like ETH was just like, hey, I send you tokens, you send me tokens, until Uniswap came around, and they were the first like.
Well, I think there were smart contracts. I think there was smart contracts. There were
smart contracts, but like it wasn't
functionality in there.
Do anything, but you couldn't do anything. Like there was no real trading until Uniswap. Like, not really. I mean, there was staking, right? But I just, you know what I mean? It was like it wasn't like anything like until Uniswap came around in like I think 2019.
Yeah, I think staking was available. Obviously, you can charge fees, but that has to do with swapping. Fees per swap, contracts, you know, and stuff like that. But I mean, but it's different in the aspect of without Flashnet, you can't do. It's basically like Bitcoin but fast. You know, that's what Spark is.
Yep. And shout out to Sats Dex. Really came out and looking good. Sack
Yeah.
Sack,
like the Nasdaq.
Okay.
Sat Stack.
I was calling it Sat Stacks. Okay, Sack Stack. Stack.
It's kind of hard to say.
I hate it. You need a name change, but I love it. I think this is very beautiful. I think I love everything about it. I think it's perfect in the way of trading and stuff like that. You can just click a coin here, copy to clipboard, and potentially, you know, go over to swap and put it in there. I like this a lot, and you can actually buy it as well on the side here. Really bullish on Xverse and everything that they've been building. So we'll see. We heard some rumors of this being a predictions market as well, but we're not seeing any conclusions to that yet.
Yeah. We're going to see how many products they roll into this. It's supposed to be sort of like a terminal. So I know you said you like the UI. I'm not a huge fan of it yet.
Really?
I feel like they need to clean it up a little bit, but you know, that's just my perspective. I'm used to seeing stuff like Axiom or, you know, the new Phantom terminal. Terminal, which formerly Padre, right? Those are really sleek, and like you have to get everything perfect size. But it's a good start. The Bitcoin ecosystem doesn't have anything really like this.
Yeah.
And so we'll see, how much it evolves in with the UI. And also I need to use it too, right? So because maybe if I use it, I feel like
Yeah.
it will be, better than what I'm seeing from aesthetically, an aesthetic like perspective of it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I think it looks great. I love the way it looks. I actually think I like this better than some of the other ones. I feel like this is more it's less like casino-y. It's more just like, hey, this is what we have. I don't know. I don't like the casino look. I don't like the pump fun style stuff where things are flashing, and it's just not my thing. I like slow and readable. So, but all right, let's jump into news from the trenches. There was one thing that caught my eye before we get into what you're kind of thinking was Kabuto. Kabuto King is hunting every first edition Kabuto card. We launched Kabuto to fuel his quest. Creator fees go straight to more cards. So this is the first of its kind. What they're doing, so Kabuto is a Pokemon card. It's not rare. But they're only looking at the first edition. So all the first edition Kabuto cards, and Kabuto is a level 1, like he has an evolved form. So it's not even like this big thing. It's pretty wild. But this is the Twitter account right here. Kabuto, and then there's Kabuto right there. So they're trying to like buy up his card. And what they did, they took the floor from about $400 to about $1,000 for the first edition PSA 10s. And then for all the Kabutos that were, what's that called? Un-PSA'd, I guess.
Ungraded.
Ungraded. That were ungraded, they went from $6 to $50. So if you go to try to find a first edition Kabuto now, it's up like 90% from it was before the Kabuto launched. So they're buying up all the Kabuto cards. I don't know. Someone really likes Kabuto, Pokemon, and is just, I don't know. I like this, but it ran to $8 million.
Yeah, I like the idea, and I'd actually like to be a part of something like that because I feel like I know the industry and stuff like that, but how do they trust them? That's the thing, right? Because they're using their creator fees to be able to buy it up. I mean, obviously they can check eBay and see that the floor has been bought up. I love it. I love the idea. I think it'd be awesome to do it in like the Bitcoin ecosystem in Spark or something, right? But we'll see. We'll see if it's something that can be sustained. Because at the end of the day, you have to think about how are the holders of this benefiting. Number go up in the coin price, of course, but also are they participating in buying some of these cards, right? I like it because it's not like a card that everybody goes after, and you're pumping the price on like a mid card, right? So it's kind of it's confusing the Pokemon people, I'm sure. The Pokemon people, dude, and that's what our space needs to do is to kind of stir something up with the collectibles industry and be like, yo, what's happening with Kabuto floors? They're probably talking about this. And then someone could be like, dude, crypto, is doing this thing where if this token goes up, they get creator fees, they're buying the floor up. There could be this like mutual relationship now with the digital asset space, which is already there. It's starting, right? But this is more of a degen relationship that could work together. So really interesting. I'd love to see it on like in the sports card industry as well, like the sports side. But like, how would you do that? Would you do that with like an average rookie? I don't know if that would actually work, right?
Think about it though. Let's say if I start one for VJ,
the worst player.
The rookie and just buy up all his rookie cards. Think about that, dude.
You would expedite. I mean, they're already going good because he's performing so well, but then you can kind of help be on top of it, right?
Or flag, do a flag token, and then your
he's
whole
starting to play better now. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But your whole thing is to buy up all the Cooper flag rookie cards. Like, I love this, dude. And then all these people are potentially the token could follow the card. So if the card's pumping, the token could be pumping.
Yeah, I do like that, but what's going to happen with the trust factor, right? Because these guys seem to be doing the right thing, but what if someone comes in and doesn't do the right thing, right? Does that lose trust of all these type of situations, or what?
You would need a card company to do this. An actual, like a card company, whether that's just like
streaming,
like not even, well, that's streaming too, but like even like what if something like Fanatics was like, hey, we're doing these card things, right? We're gonna put out a
I
token.
don't think
and all the
Fanatics could
fees
do
earned.
it.
Well, I'm not saying Fanatics in general,
But
but like a company like them,
like a card, like a sport, like a sports card shop, or someone that is like, I
what's
think
the
that
one
would
in
have to be
Dallas?
Panini.
Panini. If Panini
They
did something
can't do
like
it
that,
either though, because it's a
why
conflict
not?
of interest. It's a conflict of interest. They create the actual product, so they
Gotcha.
can't manipulate the price like that. They'll get in trouble for that. But
Yeah.
Like a well-known dealer or a well-known person in the space could do it, or something like that has a good following, just you can't manufacture them and do it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I didn't really realize Panini, like they have their own cards, but yeah, like even a sports card dealer, like you said, right? Someone out there who, hey, this is locked in. This is our company's product. We promise all the fees and we'll be transparent. Hey guys, we made $375. We're buying $375 worth of Cooper Flag to rookie cards, right? And then you can go to the website and you can see all the ones they bought. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So for the Kubuto, they selected, because Pokemon's getting crazy too, where there's so many variations of new products and stuff. So for them, they're doing the first edition, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to, so you'd have to focus on like the best rookie card of that player or something like that.
Yeah, or his rookie card in general, right? So I get Kabuto.
Well, there's multiple.
Kind of like the Kabuto rookie card, right? So it's kind of like
there's multiple variations of a rookie card, though. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you can pick like the consensus best one, right? Like for example, if that means Prism, then you just focus on those because they go for good money, and you ride those up, and it will probably drag the other brands of cards up with it too.
Yeah. And then it might have another company. They do another different player, right? Or different set of cards, or maybe someone does it with like packs. And with this, like you just call it a Topps coin, right? And you just buy up all the Topps. You buy packs, and you know what I mean. As you sell the card, let's say you hit on a card that's going for $9,000. You hit on that card. You sell the card, and with the profit, you buy back the token and burn it. You know what I mean? So you're basically, whatever the profits you get from the token, you potentially go buy packs. And if you hit something big in the packs, you sell that, and with the earnings of that, you buy back the token and burn it. So, and then you're able to, you use the creator fees again. You buy packs. Creator fees goes to packs. The cards that are sold from the packs go to burning back the token. That's an awesome idea. Like I would love. I mean,
but that's why I think for something like that to work, you would have to stream, and kind of do breaks, which people would watch you, because people love watching. People love watching people break and hit something or something like that. So,
and you could even buy the card. Let's just say like they have a Cooper Flag, like hit a Cooper Flag rookie, and someone's watching, like, yeah, I'll buy that. So the guy does a sale, you know what I mean? Whether it's on eBay or whatever third party, or even a site like Magic Eden, right? Or in that sense, or I guess you can't because you'd have to digitize it. But yeah, in the sense of like eBay or something, you can just list this for 900.
They could pay with the token, and then you burn it with that or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that. You could just pay with the token, and the token's automatically burned.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways on how to handle it.
Shout out to Courtney Johnson. He said, "What's up, guys? Nat has reached a network consensus." I know Shizzy. Yeah, I don't think Nat is going to be anything. I think the miner, it's just another dump token for the miners. There's no reason for the miners to hold Nat. The reason for them to hold Bitcoin is because they can potentially Bitcoin's going to go up forever. It's scarcity, it's digital scarcity and all that stuff. There's no scarcity with Nat. There's no reason to hold Nat. Once the miners even realize they have it, they're going to dump it on the holders. I think you're stupid for holding it, honestly. I love the guys at BlockRunner. I think they're amazing, but there's no reason to give the miners a reason to hold Nat before you just give them a whole bunch of tokens. I don't know. But yeah, I think Nat it's going to get destroyed. Over time. And then Biff Reynolds said, Mr. Yen just popped off on Luminex. Did it? Mr. Yen said, oh, Mr. Yen Tech.
Bro, what's the price?
47K.
Really?
Yen Tech Solutions. Oh shit.
I'm only in it if the same social media manager is behind the account. If he's behind it, I'm in it. If he's not, I'm not. Because I'll tell you, that guy is amazing at like he made. If there was a really fun part of Runes, it was Mr. Yen. It was Mr. 100%. Yen, right?
He was the only fun part of Runes. I don't know. Am I fucked up for saying that? I don't know. I think so. It's funny, dude. So somebody in that chat this morning called Buckazoids at 40K. I'm in this group chat. There's like 120 people in it. It's all about Spark. And somebody called Buckazoids. It's that person, the main person I was been talking to you about. He called Buckazoids at 40K, and I didn't get in. 3x'd 120. But yeah, so Buckazoid seems like it's moving there. And then you have, Buckcoin getting hit kind of hard here. No, Buckcoin's back at the all-time highs, 831. Damn, dude. Where's soon? Where's soon? There it is. 3 million. So holding strong at 3 million. So that's good to see. So yeah, we'll see what happens today. But are you going to be looking in the trenches here at all? I'm getting some Zen. Oh, look at dude, market cap 55K now. It just popped up.
I know I want it, but like I don't know if it can. If that guy is behind the account, then
it just feels like runes now for sure. We got a Mr. Yen token. It just feels like this. The runes is
that's one. That is one that like I feel like if it has energy, I feel like I cannot not buy it. You know what I mean? Just because it's such a good meme. But again, the West is going to carry that, right?
Yeah.
I don't see very much of the East buying into that. That's what worries me a little bit on it.
So back to the trenches. Are you seeing anything over there? I really don't really look over there too often, but when I saw Kabuto, now I see an Embryon over on Solana. Embryon looking strong, dude. Not 900K. This was at 400K about an hour ago, so this is really running. See Rismus. Are you looking at any of these coins? Are you looking at Solana right now?
So I've been kind of not looking at Solana because I've been in Monad and now Spark, and that's the unfortunate part, right? It's like you can only stretch yourself so thin, right? And that's why I think like Agent Hustle is going to be such a big tool in the future. Is like just putting enough of each coin in there so you can just play trenches all the way around. But right now I'm focused on Monad and Spark. But I know that there's runners happening on Solana, and I mean you see it with Rismus, you see it with what is that the Sakshi coin or Saki coin, there you go. That one's at that's been at like 7 million.
Okay.
Bullish. Yeah, but that's been around for a while, yeah. And so I don't see anything crazy yet, but Solana is obviously going to be one of the top places to go if the risk on environment gets good. If it gets good, it's one of the worst if it's bad, though. It's one of the worst if the risk on environment's bad, because at the end of the day they'll just continually the extractors will extract. But when it's good, it can really go pretty crazy. There's a lot of liquidity there.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like the narrative right now is Pokemon, though. Ditto.
Yeah, because of
that. Yeah, Zard. You think that this narrative is over, do you think? Or do you think that it's just getting started?
I think it lasts for like a day or two. I don't think it's any, you know what I mean? Like,
I like this narrative. This is one of the
with the punk. I like it too, but like with the punk strategy, you have a smart contract that does all of that stuff, though. Right, so that's the difference. You don't have to trust in the individual. I'm sure there's some sort of manual part of it, but like it's minimal from what I'm hearing. This you got to really trust that these creators are going to use the creator rewards until when. Like, did they say? You know what I mean? And
what about if Courtyard did something like this on Polygon?
I think that would be amazing, right? So if there was a way to kind of do like a custom contract like that, but you'd have to launch it outside of a launch pad. Right, because like the launch pads,
you could put the launch pad on Polymarket. I'm not Polymarket, Courtyard, right? Like some type of like fundraising thing.
In that case, for sure, right? I don't know
like a pre-sale style.
I don't know if they want that headache of creating that, but yeah, I mean, in that case, yeah.
If somebody was creating something out there, and you know what I mean? if you get my drift a little bit, if there's potentially something that somebody could do on Chain.
And what they could do is also like set a I don't know if they could do that. eBay would have to accept crypto, like do some sort of smart contract that, to where if they don't have it on Courtyard's marketplace, then because you want to affect the entire market, right? And the largest card market online is eBay. It's just hands down eBay. That's
the other
they
one's coming
control that.
along though, right? The streaming one. I see all the
Uh,
time on
Whatnot.
TikTok. Yeah, people are like, I
So,
spent $10,000 on Whatnot yesterday. Come see what I bought, and it's like, what?
yeah, but eBay's still the dominant market because of the
Gotcha.
e-commerce side, right?
Gotcha.
If you are selling it through streaming, it's different.
Courtney says,
I thought that
Pokemon
was
Go
an
is
old.
Philly.
I remember hearing that a while ago. Are they still doing that?
I haven't
'Cause
heard
if this,
anything in a while.
that would be big.
For sure.
That would be big.
It's all I really have. Let me check the banners one last time. Yep, that's everything I have here. Good show today. I think it was very, very solid. We got 191 people on X, 20 people on YouTube, not to mention everyone on Kick, Rumble, Abstract, Zora, Pump Fun, Twitch, and everywhere else. Man, really appreciate every single one of you guys.
Absolutely, guys. I know that the market is crazy. It's like very bipolar, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of situation. But you gotta stick with it, right? You gotta be consistent and keep up with the daily updates, right? And we do a show, so we have to do that, but we want to do it. But you guys are showing up and listening in and stuff, so we appreciate your support. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we're very thankful for that. Also, without our partners, we couldn't do it though. So if you could check them out, we would be very grateful for that. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs, rare Pepes, Nakamoto cards, stuff like that, you got to use Emblem Vault. Why? Because they've been doing it since 2021. They've been doing it for the longest. They have the experience going all the way back to 2013, building in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And so right now, you can actually take out a loan against your Taproot Wizard ordinal on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application in the Ethereum ecosystem. But Emblem's going to open this up to other layers as well, and Solana is on that list. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in all of Solana, and it is agenthustle.ai. You can use the free subscription to test it out. You get a limited number of prompts, but you can use it just to test it. And you can ask Hustle, hey, find me some low cap gems. He'll bring back some options for you, why he thinks these are good options. Also, he does conditional trading for you guys. So you can do buy and sell limit orders on meme coins or any SPL coins. But it's not just Solana, by the way. They are live right now in Hedera, on Hedera Hashgraph. They partnered with the foundation over there. So you can use Hustle to research tokens that are popping over on Hedera as well. They are very utility heavy, so you can get research about the utility tokens as well. And the conditional trading is live there as well. But don't forget, they are live on BSC too. This team is crushing it, constantly adding the EVM tech stack as well. So make sure you're up to date on what they support there. Really awesome. But if you really like it, then you upgrade to the subscription level, right? Or the paid subscription level, because that's where you get all the tool sets and the multiple, you get a lot more prompts with that level of subscription. You can pay actually with the Hustle token, and the Hustle token is the single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem. And there's one more product within their ecosystem called Migrate.fund, which is getting so much attention right now. They just wrapped up their second cohort with big brands like PayAI, which is at 70 million market cap at one point. But they are about to kick off the Pump Fund cohort. So they are working with Pump Fund to migrate a lot of these tokens in their communities over to a new LP or just, Pump Fund from another launch pad. So that's how it works. If you want to migrate, you feel like the liquidity is stuck, they can help you with that. You just got to get your community on board with that, of course. Reach out to them at migrate.fund or emblem.vision, where you can learn about all the products I just broke down for you guys. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0 that guides you through the entire Merlin Chain ecosystem, but also can swap for tokens outside the ecosystem on your behalf. All you got to do is have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin, and it can swap for Solana tokens and BSC tokens for you. But going back to the ecosystem, it can do swaps within Merlin Chain using Merlin Swap. Also staking for you on your behalf. And speaking of staking, Merlin Chain uses a proof of stake security model, and there's 3 ways you can participate. And the first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. The first staking vault ended September 30th. It is a 3-month staking vault. They earn 17% APR for their stakers, meaning you earn 17% of the Bitcoin, and it's paid in Bitcoin. So the staked Bitcoin you get paid in rewards in Bitcoin. They convert it for you. And the second vault is going to close up January 8th. So you do still have some days, a little bit more than a month, but I'm sure there are going to be more opportunities after that. But again, they're going to be shooting for that same APR around 17%. I know it's minimum 8%, maximum 21%. So just know that before you enter that staking vault. And then there's 2 other staking vaults as well that you can participate in, and they are Merlin Chain Token, the Merl token staking vault. The first one is a flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR. You can claim your rewards daily. You can do a compound interest strategy. You can sell them, hold them, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. But if you do withdraw your Merlin Chain tokens, it takes 7 days for their cooldown period. So just know that. And then the last option is their bonded, which is a 6-month lockup period, but you earn 45% APR. And the awesome thing about this is you can claim your rewards daily as well. And, you can do whatever you want with your tokens, as mentioned before. But just know it's locked up for 6 months if you participate in the bonded option. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating back all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. Monad, Mainnet, it's something that I forgot to do go over on the Monad. We'll do it tomorrow in the trenches over there because they are starting to heat back up. But if you guys want to learn about the Monad, Mainnet, and everything that go for that and kind of learn where to play in the trenches over there, you guys have this article right here. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And on top of that, we got Bitcoin pullback 30%, America.fund. So many amazing articles, guys. You got to check these out. They're 3 to 4 minute reads. You can knock them out very quickly and really learn about what is happening in the space. Check out our website here. And on top of that, if you guys need a VPN, I highly, highly recommend Nord. NordVPN is my favorite, my go-to right now until the US kind of lets us stop being geo-blocked, right? But right now, having this VPN allows me to use stuff like Hyperliquid, MEXC, and so many more places that geo-block you. Remember, it's not your country that's geo-blocking you. It is the website. Do not let them geo-block you. There's no reason. Get a VPN. And also, privacy is important. You don't want to be going to these sites giving your IP address. Your IP address can actually lead back to your home address. So let's say you launch a coin and that coin ends up being successful. They know where you live if you do it without a VPN. I'm 100% serious, guys. You really need to learn that privacy is important. Get out there, get a VPN today. Use our link because you do not want to pay the $11.59. Pay the $2.99 here. And if you lock it in for 2 years, you get 3 months free. You basically get, for $70, you get 27 months of VPN use. Set it, forget it. In 2 years, you'll probably be very well off when it comes to crypto. So you'll be good to go. You probably only need it for 2 years, but lock it in, set it, forget it, be done with it. And on top of that, speaking of locking in, we do have a new affiliate here, Ledger. If you guys need a hardware wallet, make sure you guys use our link. Don't buy any other hardware wallet. Seriously, there was a guy, he had XRP, he had about $2 million worth. He's been DCAing for about 4 years. And then he woke up one day, checked his wallet. All of his XRP was missing because he messed up and he was using the hot version of the wallet and not the cold version. You won't have that problem with Ledger. You get what you get. I highly recommend the Ledger Nano X. I'm kind of old school in that sense. They do have this newer stuff and it's probably a lot easier to use, but I just know for a fact Ledger Nano X has been battle tested and everything. So I want to grab on it. But right now you get 50% off because of a cyber deal. So you get it for $74 right now. So if you are interested in getting yourself a hardware wallet, highly, highly recommend Ledger. Hop over to our site, OnChainRevolution.io, and hit the Ledger tab at the very top. But guys, we really appreciate you guys. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. and putting it up in the sacks. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How do the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.